What's going on, brothers? I hope you're all having a blessed and fantastic day today. Now, I feel like people tend to overcomplicate things in life. They feel like there's this specific formula you have to follow. You got to do it exactly like X, Y, and Z, and that's the only way you're going to be able to succeed in it. But I feel like that it's actually a lot simpler than that. The formula to beat life is actually a lot simpler than that. So what exactly is this formula? Well, you have to start off with some sort of goal, right? You need some type of target, some type of goal you're trying to reach. It's a quick trophy. Now, I'm actually not an artiste, but what goal we have, right? So you need some type of goal, some type of trophy, something you're trying to achieve. For me, at the moment, this is gonna be, trying to make $10,000 per month. For you, it might be, getting good grades in college. You might be trying to achieve a 4.0 GPA. Maybe you're just trying to get a good career. Maybe you just want to get a bunch of girls. Whatever the case may be, you have some type of goal. I'll just write 10K a month because this video is I'm probably gonna title this video 19-year-old explains how he's gonna beat life. So that being the case, it's just gonna be I'm gonna be talking about this from the perspective of my own goal. All you have to do is, apply your own goal to that and then change some of the variables around. It's gonna make sense, trust me. So you have a goal that you're trying to reach. For me right now, that is hitting $10,000 a month. But cool. 10K a month, right? So now that you understand that, side note, you also need to understand that this isn't going to be your goal forever. Like obviously, once you hit that goal, or once I hit 10K a month, I'm gonna establish a new goal. Maybe it'll be 20K, maybe it'll be something in some completely different category. Whatever the case may be, understand that this is not your permanent goal. It's just the current goal that you have right now, the current goal that you are directing all of your energy towards. Cool. So you've understood this, right? You have a goal. And in order to achieve a goal, there are certain levels of things that you have to accomplish, right? You have to think about it in frames of time, right? And the closest frame of time you have to you, right? The closest perspective of time that you have is the present, right? The current time, basically what you can do today. So starting off with today, we need to understand what happens during a day. Well, there are seconds in a day, there are minutes in a day, there are hours in a day. So in order to win the day, right, you have to start off with the present. So in order to win in the present, there are things that you have to do in the present in order to get closer to this goal. So starting off with minutes, right? Well, let's go to hours, right? Let's go to hours. Minutes is a little bit small. Let's talk about hours really quick. So you wanna win the day, right? You want to win the day because if you win enough days over the course of your lifetime, you're going to accomplish your goal. So starting with the day, right? How exactly does one win a day? Well, you've got 24 hours in a day. And the way you win is that if you can get majority of those hours in order to achieve your goal, right? So my goal is 10K a month. Let's start off with the biggest thing. Let's say, 8 hours of sleep, right? Boom, 8 hours out of the way. 8 hours of sleep. Now I've got another 16 hours in order to get closer to this goal of $10,000 a month. Cool. 8 hours of sleep. What else can I do? Well, I can make some content like I'm doing right now, right? I've got Instagram, TikTok, doing this YouTube video right now. So content, let's say that let's say I spend like 2 to 3 hours on that. 2 3 hours of content. As let's say that's 11 hours now. So 11 hours out of my day that's spent on content. Now let's say I spend maybe another hour, eating healthy, right? Eating healthy food. Mm, Then maybe 2 hours of exercise. Basically, you want to go through the day and highlight, how much time you want to. First of all, you want to understand what you need to do in order to achieve this goal. So if your goal is make it 10K a month, well, you're probably gonna have a specific business model. Maybe you're having SMMA, maybe you're making content, maybe you're doing dropshipping, some type of e-commerce, whatever that is. You want to list out what you need to do in order to get that done, but you also want to make sure you're taking care of the other areas of your life, like your sleep, eating healthy, exercising, because you might think that stuff is unrelated, but think of life kind of like a spider web, right? All of these things are interconnected. And the only way you're going to get to this big goal is if you bring all of this stuff with you. Because let's say you only do the you might think that, oh, I can just only do the work and I'll get there. But your mental is not going to be in check, your physical is not going to be in check, and it's going to be harder to stay focused on that work if you're not keeping everything else to the same level. Which is why you got to do all this stuff. And a really good way you can keep track of all of this is just using a kind of a checkbox, kind of a list of things that you go through throughout the day. And if you get those things done, then congratulations, you won the day. Now, for me, I use Dan Coe's, I think it's called the Creative Command Center, from his 2-hour writer course. That's how I keep track of the things I'm doing throughout the day. But you can just get like some simple journal, some simple checklist, and just write down all the things you need to get done throughout the day in order to succeed. So, boom, we've got the day right now. You can do all of this, and then you can win the day, right? But winning the day isn't going to win you, right? If you do this one time in your entire life, you're not gonna have 10K a month. You're not gonna, you're not gonna get a bunch of girls. You're not gonna have a 4.0 GPA. You need to consistently do this day after day, which brings me to the next level, I suppose you could call it, of time, which is weeks. I'm just gonna dry this off really quick. So I don't have a little eraser. I'm using a wipe and this paper towel. Very beautiful combination. 10-10 would recommend to use, right? So you win the day. You win the day, right? Check. But in order to win the week, you have to win enough days throughout the week. That's right, so it. I mean, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's write it up here. Look. So let's say, so in order to win the week, you need to win majority of the days in your week. So let's say, you do everything on the Monday, you do everything you do on Monday. You have a very good Tuesday, very good Wednesday, but then Thursday and Friday you kind of slack it, right? You're off your game. You get like 4 hours of sleep. You don't do any of your work. You're not having Thursday and Friday are just off days for you. But you bring it back. You don't let that stop you. So now Saturday, Sunday, you're locked in. You're tapped in, and you win Saturday and Sunday. So you've won 5 days out of the week. 5 days out of the week. So seeing that you've won more days than you lost, you can reasonably say, you can confidently say that you indeed did win that week, right? Very simple formula to understand. So the goal of your week is to, first of all, remember that starting with the present, right? You want to check off boxes in the day. If you can check off the majority of the boxes, majority of the tasks in your day, you can say you've won that day. Now, expanding the perspective out a bit more, we have weeks. Now, if you can win majority of the days in your week, you can you can confidently say you've won the week, right? So the goal is, if you can get at least 4, obviously aim for more. Obviously go for that big 7. But at the very least, if you can get 4 days out of that week where you're solid on your goal, making sure you're checking every box, making sure you're doing everything you need to do in order to achieve your big goal, mine being $10,000 per month, you could say you've won that week. Now, let's expand our perspective just a little bit more, right? So we've won the week now. Obviously, you could probably guess where I'm going with this. But once you win the week, right, you gotta expand the perspective more. So you want to win the month, right? You want to win the month. Let's try this off a little bit. So now, so there are 4 weeks in a month. Let's write them out. That's not a K. Week, and you're trying to win the month. Cool. So 4 weeks in a month, you can probably tell, where this is going, right? But if you can win, let's say, let's go for 3, right? We're not gonna go for 2. Who wants a 50%? You want to get over 50. So let's say you win 3 out of the 4 weeks in your month. Let's say, week 1 you get off 7 days. Week 2 is not as good. You get 5. Week 3 you get 6. But on week 4, you only let's say only 3 days out of that week you were really locked in. You're really tapped in on your goal. All right, let's write it out. So 7, 6. We'll go. What was this? No, this was 5. And 6. And you get 3 on that last week. So you've won out of that month, you won 3 weeks, but you lost that last one. But that's 75%. Majority of that time in that month was spent on you achieving your goals, spent on you checking those boxes, exercising, cold showers, you're taking walks, you're working on your craft, maybe you're making content, maybe you're doing cold calls, maybe you're approaching a bunch of girls, whatever your goal is, bro. Whatever your goal is. For me, that's just making a bunch of content, stacking some paper and a part-time job, that type of thing. So, boom, you've won 3 weeks out of this month. You won 3 weeks out of the month, so you can confidently say you won the month, right? Boom, congratulations. You've had a very successful month, right? Now we're gonna guess it. Did you guess it? We're gonna expand our perspective again. Yes, and next step, very obvious. I'm sure you can already plan out the rest of the trajectory of this video. But once you've won the month, right? You want to take your perspective out. You want to zoom out a little bit more. Now you want to win the year. Now there are 12 months in a year. Writing this out is going to be pretty annoying. Wait, I'll just put M. I'm not writing out month complete. I'll put Mo. I'll put Mo. Mo. Drop my paper towel. Nice. O M O M O M O. Like, it's not showing up completely, but you guys get the idea. And you're trying to win. Here. Cool. So, 12 months in 1 year. Right? Fantastic. Now, obviously, if you want to win the year, you have to win majority of the months in that year. So, let's keep up with the 75%. Let's say you want to win 8 months out of the year. Let's check some boxes here. Boom, you win January, you win February, you win March. You definitely want to win March, best month out of the entire year. Yes, very great month. March, let's say you get cooked in April, you get cooked in May, you get cooked in June, right? But the rest of the months you're locked in. That beginning of that summer, I don't know, something happened to you. It was a tough time in your life. You was going through it. You wasn't tapped in on your goals, but you were trying, right? But you didn't let that stop you. You came back stronger, better than ever, and you had a very solid last 6 months of that year. Very solid, very impressive, and you got really close to your goal. Let's say, for me, let's say I tap in, I locked in, boom, I get to like $8,000 per month. Very cool. Not at the goal yet, but you're getting close. Cool. You went 9 months out of the year. That's rough. That's 75%. So you can confidently say you've won that year, right? You started with the present. You started with the day. You checked all those boxes. Then you won the week. Now you won enough weeks in your month, right? You won enough days in your week. You won the week. You won enough weeks in the month. Then you won the month. You won enough months in your year. Now you win the year. Now, next, right? Because that's not it. Because we're trying to identify the formula to beat life. So to beat life, well, first of all, we figured out days, we figured out months, we figured out years. The next step in this formula is decades, my friend. Decades, right? And in a decade, there are 10 years. I'll just write YR. R, Y, R, Y, R, Y, R. Do it again. Yeah. Something important to note is that year by year, your goal is, or rather, I'd hope your goal evolves because you should be, within 2 to 3 years, you should have accomplished your goal, and eventually you'll be moving on to your next one, right? But you still gotta understand the overall goal is to be life, right? But the minutes you goal, the goal we started out with, that's just the current thing, right? You beat that goal, then you move on to the next one, you move on to the next one, and you're gonna do that enough times until you accomplish so many goals. You're like, wow, you know what? I really wanted life, right? That's the formula we're trying to tap into here. So, years to win the decade. Years to win the decade. Cool, very fun, very cool stuff, right? So let's keep up with the 75%. So we're gonna go with 8 years, right? Year one, you're cooking. Year two, you're cooking. Year three, it's like, oh my goodness, something happened. There's a very big setback, right? Very bad year for you, but you came back. Four, you cooked. Five, you cooked. Year six, seven, and eight, you're just doing fantastic. Year nine, Again, very you weren't locked in, you weren't tapped in, right? You were suffering from some things during the time, but you didn't let that get the best of you because you came back and you won. So you went 8 years out of your decade, and you can confidently say you've won the decade. Now, obviously, I'm using big percentages here because we want to go for big. But if you win seven, if you win six, right, you can still say you won the decade. But why not go for that eight? Why not go for better? In fact, why not go for 10? Right, you want to aim, you want to get all 10. Right? You want to get all 7 days out of the week. You want to get all the months, all the weeks out of the month. You want to get all the months out of the year, and you want to get all the years out of the decade. Right, that's the goal. But being realistic, because life has its ups and downs, right? You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Which is why you want to aim for that, but don't be mad if you don't get there, right? Don't be disappointed. Don't be discouraged, right? Don't beat yourself up because you're not perfect, right? Because nobody's perfect, bro. We're not, you know what I'm saying? Do I look like Jesus to you? No. No. So obviously I'm not gonna win every day, every week, every month, every year, every decade. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Let's be real here. So we can get eight, we can get seven, we can get six. That's reasonable. So, boom, right? You've won 8 years out of your decade. I'd say, whew, you win 8 years out of a decade? Please. Like it'd be impossible not to achieve your goal, right? Boom. So you win 8 years, then you win decade. Check mark, baby. Cool stuff. Alright, so now explaining it out one more time, because obviously the decade is not life, right? So obviously that leads us to the next step is if you win enough decades, then congratulations, you can confidently say you have beat life. Now let's say starting from 18, what is the average lifespan? It's like 75, 80. What is it? That's like 6 decades. I'll put DEC. C D E C D C. Cool. So 6 decades, right? 6 decades, maybe longer, depending on how you take care of your health, your genetics, all that good stuff. You might get 8 decades, maybe nine, right? But we'll just go for six for the average. So decades, let's say you win four of these. Lose decade three, and come back, lose decade five. You win decade six. So if you win the majority of the decades throughout your lifespan, and you guessed it, you can beat life. Exclamations, very cool. It's so explosive. Yes, this is what we wanted. You can beat life, bro. You can beat life, right? You win enough decades out of your life, right? You win the years in these decades, you win the decades, then you can confidently say, you can look back on your life and you'll understand that, well, I actually did that. I tapped in, I was locked in. Obviously, there were some downs, there were some setbacks, but I didn't let that stop me. I didn't let that get the best of me. I came back, I was stronger, I was better, and I beat life. Beat life. So let's identify, right? Let's really write out the entire formula, right? We need to, because now we've understood it step by step, but we need an idea of the big picture. We need the idea of the big picture. Let's get, you know what? I'm just leave that there. New paper towel. Make sure it's really dry, really nice, very pristine, drying going on here. So, starting off with the days, right? If you win enough days in your week, you can win the week, right? Now, if you win enough weeks in your month, you can win the month. If you win enough months in your year, you guessed it, you can win the year. You win enough years in your decade, you win the decade, right? And if you win enough of those, if you win enough decades, you win a life. Draw that trophy again. Happy explosion, yes, beautiful. Days in the week, you win the week. Win enough weeks in the month, you win the month. win enough months in your year, you win the year. If you win enough years in your decade, you win the decade, right? When you win enough decades, you beat life. But the moral of the story, bro, the reason I went through all of that is for you to understand that in order for you to get here, to beat life, you need to start with today. You need to start with the present because none of the other stuff is possible if you can't focus on the present. If you can't lock in for a single day, you know what? Today, I'm going to work out today. Today, I'm going to make progress towards my goals. Today, I'm going to work on my business. I'm going to make sure I'm eating healthy. I'm going to get 8 hours of sleep. I'm going to do everything I need to do in order to get my goal and to ultimately beat life. And then when tomorrow comes, you're gonna say, you know what? Today I'm gonna lock in. Today I'm gonna do everything I need to do. Today I'm going to work on my business. I'm gonna work on my physique, my health, my sleep. I'm going to make sure I'm doing everything today in order to close in my goal. And then you're gonna do it again, and then you're gonna do it again, and you're gonna do it so many times that eventually you get down here and you beat life, bro. But you have to understand the present is the most important thing that we have. It's the only thing that we have because it's the only thing we can see, right? Because you can see the big picture, right? But you're only experiencing this. You can plan this, but the only experience you will ever have is today. If you really think about it, the past it's a memory, bro. It's you've experienced that in the past, but it's not. You can't see it currently, right? You can plan into the future. You can look into the future. You can kind of try and guess what's going to happen, but you don't really know. The only thing you have confirmed knowledge of, the only thing that you'll ever truly understand in life is that the present, right? The present, the action right now, the minutes, the days, the hours. That's the only thing we have. And that's the only thing we need in order to get here is just to focus on the present, bro. Focus on the present, bro. I promise you, if you can really focus on the present, one, you're not going to be suffering from all this anxiety about the future, all the possibilities. You're like, you know what? No, I'm only going to do what needs to be done right now. And you're not going to be focused on the past. Like, oh, I failed then. What if I fail again? You know what I'm saying? Like, all that stuff doesn't matter. It does not matter. Focus on today. And I promise you're going to get what you want to be like. So, hopefully you found some value in this video, bro. Hopefully you learned something new. And hopefully you understand that the formula to beat life isn't that complicated. It's actually very simple, bro. So, stay frosty and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.